let's talk about something Sony did that people aren't happy about. So for Horizon Forbidden West got a new, basically they released all the information about all the different editions that are coming out. And some people weren't super happy about what occurred. So for those of you who don't know, that Horizon Forbidden West is going to be coming to PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. And originally people had kind of thought that there was going to be an option for a free upgrade. And that turned out not to be the case. To get the free update, you had to get the minimum deluxe digital edition in order to kind of have that transfer. Or else but that came at an additional cost of like an additional $20 or $30 on top of the normal game price. So this article comes from Paul Tassi at Forbes, arguing that Sony actually lied to its fans. So he writes, Sony baffled fans and critics alike when it announced the pricing for the PS4 and PS5 versions of the Horizon Forbidden West. While the $60 PS4 and $70 PS5 price points are Sony's standard at this point, the confusing part was where there was absolutely no way to upgrade your $60 PS4 version to a PS5 version later. Instead, players are told to buy an $80 deluxe version, which allows dual entitlement for both PS4 and PS5 versions of the game. Fans haven't exactly loved Sony's paid upgrade path for other games in the past, but the complete lack of an upgrade path for Horizon Forbidden West is new. But it's not just illogical, it's actually completely contrary to what Sony explicitly said about the game. A year ago, last September, Sony published a blog post that remains online to this day. It says the following. Additionally, we know that the PS4 community will transition to the PS5 at different times, and we're happy to announce PS4 versions of some of our exclusives. Marvel's Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Sackboy: A Big Adventure, and Horizon Forbidden West will also launch on PS4. While these three games were designed to take advantage of the PS5 and its unique next-gen features like the ultra-high-speed SSD and DualSense controller, PS4 owners will also be able to enjoy these experiences when they launch. The PS4 digital versions of launch games include a free upgrade on both PS5 consoles, while the PS4 disc version of these games include a free upgrade to PS5 with Ultra HD Blu-ray disc drive. And then later on, so everyone on the internet got super mad about this and kind of called Sony out for misleading or lying to their buyers and players. And so Bo DeVries, the community lead at Guerrilla, updated. Thursday was to be a celebration of Horizon Forbidden West and the amazing team at Guerrilla working to deliver it on February 18th, 2022. However, it's abundantly clear that the offerings we confirmed in our pre-order kickoff missed the mark. Last year, we made the commitment to deliver free upgrades for our cross-gen launch titles, which included Horizon Forbidden West, while the pandemic's profound impact pushed Forbidden West out of the launch window we initially envisioned. We still stand by our offer. Players who purchase Horizon Forbidden West on PlayStation 4 will be able to upgrade to the PS5 version for free. I also want to confirm that moving forward, PlayStation first-party exclusives cross-gen titles newly releasing on PS4 and PS5, both digitally and physical, will offer a $10 USD digital upgrade option from PS4 to PS5. This will apply to the next God of War and Gran Turismo 7 and any other exclusives cross-gen PS4, PS5 titles published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. That was by Jim Ryan, President and CEO, Sony Interactive Entertainment. So Adam, big question. Did Sony lie to their players?
I don't really care because in the end, the decision was wrong. Whether they lied or not, it's just really stupid to not offer a free upgrade when your competition does that.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no other way of going about it. It really is just a matter of Microsoft does it. Why aren't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm of the mind, like, I think they definitely did, did they lie? I don't know. Maybe they kind of thought that this was going to just be for some launch window stuff. I think their problems actually started earlier. I think the idea of making things cross-gen, like making Miles Morales, making Forbidden West, making God of War, exclusive, was a mistake. I mean, the problem is that you've increased your prices on PS5, but you haven't increased them on the PS4. So did it take less time or money to make it on the PS4 than it did on the PS5? No, it's the same amount of labor, but now you're charging at a cheaper rate. And so what Sony probably did is they saw it and said, holy crap, there is no incentive or very little incentive for people to just buy a PS4 version If it's gonna have a free update, they're just gonna buy the PS4 one and then play it on the PS5. So Sony was like, we don't want to lose it on that money, so we're going to make it, we're going to charge more for Horizon Forbidden West, which really is the big first, like I'd say that's the first big console exclusive that they've had since Miles Morales. And Miles Morales wasn't even a full blown, title. So I think they just kind of saw that and said, we can't do that. And that's why I think the issue was from the beginning, just making that, cross compatible and making it a PS4. If you had said, hey, this is a next gen game, it's taking advantage of the next gen hardware, costs more to make, we're going to do it for $70. Sony said at the very beginning, we believe in console generations and iterating. They don't see it as a one streamlined platform. Could they do it? Clearly they can. But I think now they've just jumbled the message so much that they should have when they said initially, no, these are PS5 games. You will get them on PS5 when the game comes out. And now I think they're in this weird situation where Xbox is doing, the free upgrades so much better and so much easier that Sony really has no good way of doing it while keeping their $10 price increase for the PS5 games and then also offering an upgrade. So I think if they have just stick with their message and said, hey, no, this is it, we're going to be keeping this as an upgrade. There's no upgrades. Get the PS5 version when you get your PS5. I think that would have solved their problems. But as it currently stands, yeah, they are definitely, I don't think lying. I think they're just disorganized and just reacting, and they don't have a clear message. And this is what we saw from Xbox when they came up with the Xbox Series X.
Yeah. It's just the reality again. Like the pandemic screwed so much up that just people are just bouncing all over the place trying to figure out how to recoup some of the money that they've lost. So some decisions are being made that are helpful, some are not, and they're gonna have to deal with the consequences of the bad ones. Because as the internet goes, you don't care much about the positives; you only remember the negatives. So
yeah, but I think this is all not just coming from a spot where it's just them reacting to the pandemic. I think this is legitimately them just not having a clear message and a clear vision like Xbox did last generation, where they had an idea, it didn't work, and then they just were constantly trying to regain their footing, and they never really did. And I just worry that that's what Sony has done.
Well,
they had a message, it fell flat, and now they're kind of fumbling.
Well, you were talking about the whole like switching Horizon and Spider-Man, for example, to not just being PS5 exclusive, but to mixing the two generations. Well, again, that's just because there aren't enough PS5s to put it on the market. I do think that without the pandemic, we have the proper amount of PS5s out there, and we're not having this problem. This isn't even an issue we're talking about. So I don't believe that this would have been nearly the same kind of mess had there not been the pandemic. It doesn't change the fact that they made a really bad mistake. Like, I don't think it's a bad idea that they made it available for both platforms. It made sense because most people weren't going to be able to get their hands on the new one. It made sense to, business-wise, get at least your money's worth, because you're going to have a lot more copies being sold now because there aren't nearly as many PS5s on the market. But on the flip side, you're also now reducing the quality, and now you're having to figure out, why. Or you got to figure out ways to get people to buy the PS5 version, when reality, most people are just going to be like, well, I'll get the PS4 version because it'll pretty much run the way it's supposed to on PS5, just without the 4K, I guess. So, it's not the worst thing in the world, really. Like, this decision is more just, and it's showing that just Sony just kind of really hasn't handled this situation very well, and you hope that, in the next little while, now that they've finally had the big issue that made them realize, oh shit, we got to rethink things a little bit. Maybe now things start to get a little bit more organized again, and that might help. But as for, it stands right now, this is just that key moment that everybody's looking at it being like, man, Sony could be running away with this fight, and they keep making mistakes.
Yeah. And this goes back to what I was talking about last week. One thing Sony needs most is a healthy Xbox to kind of keep them on track. I think the like going to this issue is, I think if they're going to commit to this backwards compatibility, just own it. Like, I think get rid of the 10. Like, I think how they have it right now with a $10 upgrade consistent across the board, this is a temporary problem. I mean, at some point they're going to stop making these PS4 games, but then it raises the question of like, well, why, when does that come? When is that ending? Like, at what point do they sort of say, hey, we're sunsetting the PS4, we're now exclusively PS5? Because it's different in each region. And so it's a temporary problem. I don't have a huge issue with them making it backwards compatible. I think it does create more problems, but at that point, just, say, hey, here, these are the games up until this date, we're going to support backwards compatibility. Afterwards is not. But like, yeah, right now there's no incentive other than if you want a PS5 logoed video game case in your disc to say PS5, there's really no incentive to buy a PS4 version for Horizon Forbidden West.
Yep. I mean, realistically, like you said, it's a problem that's not going to last too much longer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we think the shortages is going to still be going along for a while, but at some point you've got to put that foot down and be like, okay, we're just going to have to deal with the fact that there's a shortage, and we'll figure out a way afterwards. But until then, this is the situation we're in. We're just going to have to kind of wait our way through these waters,
So do you think that PlayStation should continue to offer this backwards compatibility until the shortages are over, or what do you think is for you the watercress moment where you say, okay, we're now going to discontinue that? Because that's going to be a hard conversation they're going to have too. Unless they choose unless they choose a moment where everyone has a PS5, which could be years. When do they make that call? Because it's going to be a bad call no matter when they make it.
Well, I think at this point the cap would be 2023. I think you just have to look at how 2022 goes and just realize, okay, is this game worth holding back or retooling just a little bit for PS4, or should we just go for it? I think like the next year is going to be really what decides it. I think if they should not be making that decision, or sorry, they shouldn't be holding back this decision for another full year after that. 2023, we will know 100% for sure. And then I guess we'll still be kind of feeling this out as we go into at least to the summer of next year for sure, I would think.
But then that raises the question that clearly these games can be ported back and forth. So then at any time they'll say, well, why are you not supporting the backwards compatibility? Like, Sony have put themselves in a very crappy situation.
Yeah. I mean, but again, it's a situation that I don't know what I would do in that scenario. I don't think anybody knows. Like, if you actually take a second to sit back and think about it, like, you can't plan for this, what's happened. So you don't plan for, I'm sure they figured there would be at least 20, 30 million PS5s already out on the market by this point. So, like, at some point, like, I feel a little bit of sympathy for them, but I mean, I also own my PS5 now, so I could care less.
Yeah.
But,
well, this is what they're saying, is that they're saying that the PS5 has technically outsold the PS4 for time on the market, which is another crazy thing.
I guess the argument that you can make too is that there's more gamers too, so now there's a much bigger market they're trying to get consoles to, so who knows. I mean, realistically, like, they should just stop it now. Like, if it were up to me, I'd say, guys, just shut it down. Just stop thinking about it. Just get it over with. Get the bad PR out of the way and just be done with it. But I think they'll kind of chill a little bit longer with it to try to feel everything out.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see when they actually decide to pull the plug on that.